It's Teresa G coming in from her cluttered kitchen for another Tip Tuesday. This week I thought I would talk about kitchen scales and a couple of tips on how to use them effectively in your baking and cooking. So I have this, it's a Tare scale. I just got it at Costco a couple weeks ago because my Pampered Chef one broke. And I did have that one for a very long time, probably 5 or more years. And it was very good, but it's small and had a very small piece to put your ingredients on. This one is very large, as you can see, okay? It's probably 10 inches long, and it was very reasonably priced, $24.95. I've seen things just like it in other stores and in catalogs for $60 or more, okay? Costco is always a good deal. And so a lot of recipes call for things like 4 ounces of butter or 3 ounces of liquid, and even though you have measurements in your liquid cup, you're not always sure if it's exactly the amount that it calls for, or it calls for milliliters and grams, and not always sure about that. On this one you can change it between American measurements and metric, which is a very important thing to have on a scale. So I thought I would show you my scale and give you a couple of tips on how to use it effectively. Okay, so this is my new Tare scale. Is the Tare 39194 CUS. And okay, and so this is the button that you turn it on with. Alright, this is the one that changes the units. So you got milliliters, you got grams, you got fluid ounces, and you got regular ounces and pounds. Okay, now this is how you basically use it. Okay, so you put something on it, especially if you don't want to dirty it. Okay, and it says 0.1, so you tare, T-A-R-E, you tare it. Okay, and then you start adding on. Let's say a recipe I'm going to be using in the next hour calls for 4 ounces of white chocolate. Now, a full bar of it from Aldi, right, is, they say on the box it's 7.05, but it's 7.1. Okay, now the recipe calls for 4 ounces. So, first I break it in half, basically. Take off about part of it. Right, I break some of it into little pieces. Alright, so a little less than half of it is 2.4 ounces. And I just start adding on pieces, chunks, okay, until I hit 4. There you go, there's 4 ounces, okay. Now, sometimes you do it the opposite. You just start with little bits, like, you know, let's say 6 ounces of, I don't know, spinach, right? You put a bowl on there, you press tare, then you start adding your spinach until you hit 6 ounces. Okay, so anyway, so that's regular pounds and ounces, okay? 4.1 ounces of white chocolate. Okay, so that's how much I need for my recipe. Okay. And I tare it again if I'm going to be using it again. Let's say I want liquid, right? So I'll put it on fluid ounces. Okay, I put something on it that will hold the ounces. I'll tare it. Okay, and I'll start pouring in water. Let's say the recipe calls for 3 ounces, and you think that it's 3 ounces by looking at that, but you can check by doing that. Pouring in until you reach 3 ounces. There you go, 3 ounces. Right? Okay. And then, of course, I always immediately put it back on the amount, the type of unit that I normally use. Okay. Okay. So there are your tips. First put down something, whether it's for liquid or for hard things or nuts or whatever, and you don't want to dirty your surface. You put something down, you tare it, and then you start adding your stuff. Alright, for liquids, you put it on the unit for liquids, right? And then you put something that will hold liquid, right? And you tare that, and then you start adding your liquid until you hit the thing. Okay? Okay, so I hope those were helpful tips on how to use a kitchen scale. If you have any questions for me, of course, put it in the comments. Or if you have any hints on effective scale use, please put it in those little comments at the bottom. I'm always happy to hear from everybody. And like the video, subscribe, and press that little bell. And come back again for another tip, tool, or cooking video. Bye.